Generative AI have been a crave of humanity advancement for a decent amount of time, with the most infamous one being generative art, commonly used to generate garbage like this, and this. Be it beautiful landscape or memes, generative AI really takes the soul out of everything. And with that said, Singapore, the country with one of the best education system in which we turn breed some of the most talented people on earth, did a pretty huge blunder by introducing generative art into their middle school curriculum. So as an individual that relies heavily on the creative art industry, dear Singapore's Ministry of Education, what in the actual fuck?
The human being is an unequal creature. This is a fact. And we start off with a proposition.
I'm at Singapore's National Stadium, located at Kallang, Singapore. It's a multi-purpose hall that's attracted millions upon millions worth of dollars in terms of entertainment, with today's topic being Singapore's National Day Parade. Traditionally, my school is invited to help in creating stunning visuals for this important celebration, which is projected onto a big screen for the world to see the media talent of Singapore. Now let's imagine my juniors 2 years from now, invited to do this celebration yet again, but the only thing they know about art is a couple of prompts. And as an audience, the only thing you see on the big screen is tralalelo tralala and tung 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 sahur. Yeah, you would definitely turn that shit off if you have even the slightest artistic taste. But Toaster, you're just a game programmer. Why the fuck do you care so much about generative art? Well, if you think about it, games are not just fun because of their features. Their art plays a huge role too. Thus, I must have a huge connection with a bunch of artists in my school. Well, of course, my words are just my words. Why not we hear the opinions of my fellow artists? Since it's being used at an educational level, let's just ask the million-dollar question. Will AI art truly educate students into the world of art? First response we have is hell nah! In this particular instance, AI art is not able to hone one's craft, as you're not moving your brain wires and hand muscle to get any work done. If you can't swim, the best thing you do is you keep trying, right? But what if you just buy a boat? Yes, you can travel across water, but you still can't fucking swim, right? Likewise, another artist pointed out that the use of generative AI to achieve art is a form of pussiness. It's a fact that no one is born good at anything. You get good by keep doing it, which is literally what school is. You grind the subject to have a greater score. Generating art through AI though skips all of that. In turn, you earn none of that. You're still as stupid as you are 50 prompts ago. In a turn of event, these 3D artists, however, do not think it is a problem introducing generative art to students, as everyone can form their own personal opinions about it. However, this artist is still not a fan on using generative AI as a learning opportunity, because the part where it says teaching, it's kind of confusing what the fuck you're supposed to teach your students. Well, sitting down and learning the techniques can actually teach you more than what it seems on the surface. You also learn the importance of patience. You learn to try again if things don't go your way, which brings back to the previous part of putting in practice can make you so much better at your craft. Resulting in cheap methods like the use of generative AI to generate results is such disrespect, as it reinforces the fact that our efforts and time actually means nothing. This artist believes that visual art was not beautiful because of its visual values, but for the way it allowed for anyone to express whatever they want to express in a visual medium. AI generation, however, just takes all the human value out of it and makes it a cold, empty, lifeless husk. Word. Next, I asked them about their future. How they would think that the art industry will be affected if generative AI became the norm. One artist said that now that AI has become something business are looking so towards too, because it's the new advanced technology that allows their own business to grow in the way that they wanted to. Business owner will be fixated on introducing AI onto their flavors, which in the long run just surrounds their children with machine-generated illustration, and they will be growing up in artificial environment because, children has been entertained by media around them for the longest time in human civilization. We had movies, then we move on to comic books, and now we move on to children TV shows. If these things are just replaced by the AI shit show of today, The children of tomorrow will never know what real art is because they have been shown AI generated slot for their entire life growing up. Another artist seems to be pretty unconcerned about its effect on the art industry because these artists think that humanity will always have an edge no matter what. Yes, you can keep generating stuff, but to generate stuff, it needs stuff to copy. So if you're flooded with Gen AI stuff, it can only reference itself and basically AI incest happens. And it can only produce so much original stuff because it does the same thing over and over again. Human artists, on the other hand, will have the uniqueness and creativity to actually stand out. But still, you just have to learn to polish yourself and push yourself even more. For side tidbits, I asked them how they truly feel about the Ministry of Education, like the people behind their entire student life, after they pull something like, well, this. Yeah, I don't think I can put this in this video. It's kind of just reinforced why Singapore has the highest underage suicide rates, but that's for another topic. Now for a little bit of more interesting things that I picked up from them.
Cool bug factors.
One day you will have to answer for your actions, and God may not be so merciful.
One of them stated that a lot of misinformation about what AI is and is not is causing even more problems because simple CGI, the hard work of visual effect artists, will be downplayed and AI will just take credit of it. Which is so fucking true though. These days I can just pull up a video and the comments will be filled with people with underdeveloped frontal lobes commenting, "This shit AI though," when it's just simple visual effects. And on another note, most products are literally just AI made and it's honestly so sad. It looks like the entire world is just prioritizing efficiency and selling worth more than actual human work. Art gives our life actual substance, so we do not have to work 9 to 5 and have no joy, bruh. Yet, you're just taking away all the joy and making us do the 9 to 5. AI should be used to take away any work so we can enjoy life, not the other way around. Like, come on, these clankers are invented so that they can do my dishes when I do art, not do my art for me so I have time to do my dishes. A lot of these artists also highlighted about the sustainability aspect of generative AI, highlighting that as a country that prides itself on sustainability, you know how much AI sets us back for global warming effects? Doesn't each fuck-ass prompt require so much water, so much clean water to generate? This planet is dying and you want to waste our resources on this bullshit. Which is proven literally countlessly, with the most solid evidence being from the University of California, stating that using ChatGPT-4 to generate 100 words consume up to 3 bottles of water. And they're just words, by the way. Imagine them generating like colors and shit. In conclusion, Gen AI usage is so terrible in a way it deteriorates your mind. Not only are you taking away their right to learn for themselves, but also to be creative and think. It's ironic that art, as an expression used to counter the norm, is now being taught through an algorithm that generates what's mostly statistically average. It's ironic how this syllabus meant to prepare for younger generation for the future, it's actively destroying the planet. Which, quoted by Miss Jacqueline Key, Deputy Director of Art and Dance in MOE's Student Development Curriculum Division, that's long, said that MOE is looking at how to make our students a little bit more future ready. So the revised syllabus harnesses the broad yet unique competencies that art can develop in their youth. And let us end with an incredible quote by my fellow artist. True art will only die when we no longer feel motivated to create on our own. And what this is an incredible amount of effort to inspire absolutely nobody. Hold on. At the end of the day, we're just kids, no? We're just students freshly graduated. So does our words really mean anything? Glad you asked that. And this is why I have gathered a couple of people that's working in the industry currently to get their opinions about AI art.
My name is Jason. I worked in publishing for a while as a writer, and then I worked in the radio industry. I was on a radio show. I quit a few years ago because I fell in love with animation. Every step of the way, it's been totally beyond my abilities. So for the past 5 years, I've been constantly trying to raise my skill level so that I can finish this project that's like my dream project.
The other two individuals prefer their identity to be anonymous, so I will do just that. And likewise, from the first interview, I will be asking similar questions, with the first question being, what is your current view on AI art from the examples that's available to be seen online?
I think the main reason I think it's terrible is that these companies have scoured the internet for images to feed their software so that they can take these images that other people have worked on and use them for free to create new images that really aren't new images. They're just reworked old images. And in a lot of cases, they haven't paid for.
Throughout our history, we actually incorporate those new technology into art. We love new things. That's how fine art goes, or how art goes in general. If you think about like photography, long ago, photography, that was the first kind of technology. Initially, a lot of people say, oh, die already, then no more people want to do painting, But no, it turned out that painting becomes more enriched. We have the same approach towards AI. I see it as a good tool, possible tool. But the thing is that it's just a way to start. But I noticed that it really depends on the prompt. It's also depending on how creative you are as a creative person. Right? If you are not creative, you end up with something that's really very generic, boring. The way I look at it, traditional art, it will be enriched with the use of AI. None of us are afraid of AI. So for each painting, I have to think about the composition, I have to think about subject matter and all that. Traditional way is you just look for all the different images and then put them together. Alright, that's what AI is doing. It has bigger databases. That's one thing I like about it. Actually, right, like photography, right, it's a lot more people will have access to certain form of art making. In the past, right, it's kind of mysterious how you get the thing, but now it's not really like just go and use a tool and generate images. I mean, my only concern is that you might end up with very generic looking things. But really, a tool is just a tool, right? And the database, okay, you can get bigger and bigger and bigger too, but if everybody is just keep generating the same thing, right? You might end up having everything the same.
So I feel like AI is in sort of a gray area right now. My colleagues who are programmers, who use it to aid them in their coding stuff. But I feel that's because like coding is fixed. I mean, I don't know, but like, from what I code, right? Like coding is the same one for one. Like how math is math, blah. So like, online already has the solutions to help them fix their stuff. AI just made it so it's easier to find that specific solution. But then of course, from what I heard, there's like good code and there's bad code, right? And then some AI is trained on bad code, so sometimes it doesn't really achieve what they want. So similar to art, I like that you can visit certain tools achieved from fabulous cases from history. Then I can like reference off it. But never have I used it and then said that I made it because I didn't. So it's just sort of a starting line for me to start with to achieve my goals using my own skills.
Next question that's up. Do you think generative AI, in any sense possible, can help current or new artists to become better?
I don't think so, because it doesn't teach you how to do art. What it teaches you is how to be a client. When I got my first job in radio and started making money, one of the first things I started to do was making art. And sometimes I would get custom pieces done. So I would tell the artist, okay, I want a picture of Thranduil from Lord of the Rings in this kind of pose on his throne, right? And then the artist would do it and send it to me. I didn't make up Thranduil. I didn't do the picture. I didn't do anything. All I had was money and a request. And so all that generative AI teaches you is how to make a request. It doesn't teach you anything about art at all. Zero.
I think it's very hard to, at the moment, based on the technology right now. You can do up to a certain extent, but let's say one good people like painting or even do lasing and actually it works to layer by layer, maybe cannot. Or even if they can, it's going to be very expensive. It's always cheaper actually, The human hand is faster, it's cheap right now. At this point, right, they can't, okay, because I'm a creator. But it has a very special quality. You have to do it by hand. But actually, you can go get a printer, you can get a certain surface, you can actually bring out something that looks like printing nowadays. So, you know what's gonna be like with printing? They say they can do that. I mean, that's my only concern. Will my so-called uniqueness be no longer unique? If a lot more of my students use AI, they might neglect so-called traditional skills. So they are less willing to spend a lot more time working with the surfaces.
In a certain sense, it can help, but overall, not really. I already said this just now, but AI can generate artwork based on existing art. So if you want to practice a certain art style, you can use it. But for yourself, you need to develop your own type of art. Note that I keep mentioning referencing. So I do believe that you still need to use your own hands to create the product by yourself. It will be your own skills that create what you make, but it's honestly only viable if you already have the basics now. I feel that AI is bad at generating realistically bad art. Like for me, I can tell if you're a beginner artist from looking at your drawing. So it's easy to point out where you should improve. And with that, like where your flaws are. Like working out your body, you can see that your biceps are strong, but by being able to lift heavy dumbbells, but your legs are weak from not being able to squat as much. So you can focus on working on your legs more than your arms. But if you just use AI to learn, the amount of cross-referencing the AI will do will be a point that the flaws of all your generated image will be inconsistent. Like sometimes the lighting is off or the proportion of the body is wrong. Then you can never really know where to improve on your skill set.
And for the last question, how major of a change will your current job be if generative AI became highly prioritized?
I have a hard rule in my projects to not use generative AI, like even for in the concept stage, at any stage, because that's the fun part. The reason listen very closely. The reason we want to make art is because we're lazy and stupid and we don't want to get a real job. Art is fun. The fun of art is thinking about it. What do I want to do? Looking around on the internet. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's cool. Okay, and then you draw something or you sculpt something in 3D and you come up with a thing, oh, that's like shit, right? And then, okay, I'll do it again. Oh my God, that looks great, right? That's what making art is. That's the fun of art. If you're not doing that, there's no fucking point. Unless you just want to make money, and then that's a different conversation, right? Because there are people who fake it and then they say, look what I did, and they didn't do it, and then they sell it, and but that's not an artist, that's a scammer, right? That's a grifter, right? If you want to be a grifter, go for it, you'll probably make more money. But the people who made it, I don't think had any fun doing it. And the thing is, right, the company that commissioned that work will expect things faster, all the time, cheaper, better. And do you think they have any respect for you? No. They know all you're doing is plugging all this bullshit into an AI. They'll say, I could fucking do that. Why do I have to pay you $1 million, right? If you were actually creating all the models and animating all the models and doing all the fabric simulations and hair simulations or whatever, then you deserve the money, and the company would know you deserve the money and they would pay you accordingly, right? But if they know you're just doing it with AI, why should they fucking pay you? They could literally hire an intern in their own company to do the same work. Without the human touch, it has no value. And just intrinsically, it has no value. My oak table will always be a beautiful oak table that had to be handcrafted. And every time I touch it and feel the grain, I love it, right? Every time I touch this, do you think I get anything out of this? This is just a piece of functional furniture that I use to put my keyboard and my computer screens on. How much do you think this costs compared to my oak table? And how much more fun do you think the guy who made the oak table had compared to the guy, however they make this fucking shit in whatever factory? I think that ultimately there's always going to be a place for authentic, human-crafted, handcrafted artworks. We love the fact that human beings actually had to make this stuff. It wasn't just poured out into an injection mold in a factory somewhere, right? So there's still there's a market for the cheap stuff, though there will never be a premium on the fake stuff. So you can either be one of those people who has no taste and gets off on the fake stuff, or you can be a real consumer or a real connoisseur or a real man of taste and get the real stuff. And you'll have to pay a premium, but that stuff is still around and it's still appreciated. And those people are, I think, a lot of cases making real money and have real jobs and careers. This is the good thing about AI. I'm doing a solo project, but it's still nice to have feedback. And this is the one thing I use AI for, right? What I'll do is I'll go into imagine, okay, I'm in Google Docs, right? So I go and I copy all my stuff, the passage I'm doing from Google Docs, right? I copy it into ChatGPT. And then at the top of it, I just put vibe check and analysis, please, right? All I'm using the AI for is to see if I have created something that is communicating in the way I want it to. So I want to see if the themes that I've put into the writing are coming through. All this is a sounding board, right? And every time it gives me a suggestion, it's invariably a stupid suggestion. I do not use its suggestions. All I want to know is, it's basically I'm getting it to write essays about my work. Because, right, when you're creating, right, you're in your own mind, and it's hard to tell sometimes if what you have in your mind has been translated to the paper, right? And I use this to see if that has happened. From that, I'll know if I'm sort of in the right ballpark. It'll oftentimes ask me, do you want me to change this or change that? And I'm like, no, shut up. Just tell me what you see, right? Say you're not an artist and in your own personal life, you think there's something I'd like to see that I've never seen before. And you make that image and it comes up and you're like, wow, that's cool. That's it. It should be a personal thing that you use to enjoy art in a personal way. But when it's used by professionals or by companies or by working artists to do real projects, I do not like it. I do not like it. And I think there's no place for it.
How would the job be impacted? I think it can be faster to reach, or as in faster to generate artwork. But I think that if let's say they want to focus on the handmade one, to generate just ideas, it's actually a lot faster. But to actually execute it, it's gonna be a bit hard. I don't think it's actually gonna make much of a difference. Digital one definitely very much, a lot easier. Traditional art feels so protected because need a handcrafted. Will it mean that people will eventually don't want the handcrafted one? Because AI makes it such that it's so easy to just keep generating very different kinds of artwork. So yes, there is a possibility that eventually nobody wants to be like doing those kind of handcrafted. It might just be extinct. But I think it'll take a while.
I feel like there should be not much of a change, and I personally feel that my generative art and human crafted art should be in their own category. But from the pattern scene thus far, my position is getting more and more vulnerable. That's the thing about people that see AI art as a technological advancement. They do not appreciate the quality of art, and they will just look at a Scrollier's drawing and Picasso and think they are both on the same level. Basically, they don't know how to appreciate it. With that mindset, right, the use of generative art in the industry level is getting out of hand. So many ads on billboards are being generated by AI, and it's crazy how good the companies are at hiding it. Honestly, it pisses me off. Generative art should not be used to this standard, as it takes away the job from people in these very hard times. Because well, it is indeed true, it is cheaper to generate it than hiring a professional, but I don't think it's very professional to do so. It almost feels like cheating both the brand and your customers.
And that, in my opinion, is correctness to the highest order. The introduction of generative AI, heck, any generative technology in question should not even pose this amount of threat in the working industry. It should only be used as a tool to get you started, not cheat your way to submit a bare minimum product. Hell, it can't even reach a bare minimum at this level in time. Let's bring the spotlight to me for a second, and let's talk about video games. With the most recent and disappointing release of Call of Duty Black Ops 7, these are calling cards for the goddamn $70 game in 2025. And these are the 2019 version for the beloved classic Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Fucking hell, even the most popular game in the world, League of Legends. Well, the mobile version at least, used a fully AI generated garbage to promote its 3rd anniversary.
What the hell?
I don't give a flying fuck you already deleted it and apologized to the public. It's the fact that you fucks even approved it. And it even seems that my school has filled the management seats with low intelligent individuals. I went back last week just to be greeted by shit like this again. Holy shit, they're back at it again, bro. Seems like they lack the intelligence using a fucking camera. And when I say again, I mean that they have already done it fucking once last year. With a fuck ton of criticism. It's not really hard to pick up a camera and just click that one particular button. But I guess it's too hard for people with IQ that's lower than the room temperature.